Lecture, an introduction to Plato's philosophy. Good morning, everyone. Today we're diving into the foundational ideas of one of the most important figures in Western philosophy, Plato. 1. Plato's life and context. Plato was born in 428 BCE in Athens, the son of an aristocratic family. He lived through the turbulent period of Athens' defeat in the Peloponnesian War, the rise of Spartan dominance, and the eventual execution of his teacher, Socrates, in 399 BCE. His philosophical work is deeply shaped by these events, especially the trial and death of Socrates, who was accused of corrupting the youth and impiety. Plato's legacy spans many areas of philosophy, including ethics, metaphysics, epistemology, and political theory. His dialogues, written in the form of conversations, preserve Socratic thought and also showcase Plato's own evolving philosophical ideas. 2. The theory of forms, ideas. One of Plato's central contributions is his theory of forms, also known as the theory of ideas. According to Plato, the material world we perceive with our senses is not the true reality. The physical world, in which we experience change, decay, and imperfection, is merely a reflection of a higher, unchanging realm of forms. What are forms? Forms are perfect, eternal, and non-material archetypes of things in the physical world. For example, when you see a beautiful object, a painting, a sunset, a person, Plato would argue that you are only encountering a shadow or imitation of the form of beauty itself. The true form of beauty is timeless, unchanging, and exists in a non-material realm of perfect ideal objects. For Plato, knowledge is not about what we perceive with our senses, but about understanding these perfect forms, which exist beyond time and space. Knowledge is the intellectual grasp of these unchanging truths. The allegory of the cave. One of the most famous metaphors in Plato's philosophy is the allegory of the cave, found in the Republic. In this allegory, prisoners are chained in a dark cave, facing a wall. Behind them, a fire casts shadows on the wall from objects passing in front of it. The prisoners take these shadows to be the only reality, because that is all they have ever seen. However, when one prisoner escapes and sees the light of the outside world, he realizes that the shadows were only imperfect reflections of the real objects outside the cave. The world outside represents the realm of the forms, while the shadows represent the imperfect material world. The allegory emphasizes Plato's belief that philosophical education is a process of turning away from the deceptive world of appearances and toward the pursuit of true knowledge and enlightenment. 3. Plato's epistemology, knowledge and opinion. Plato made a key distinction between knowledge, episteme, and opinion, doxa. For Plato, knowledge is objective, unchanging, and tied to the eternal forms. Opinion, by contrast, is subjective, changeable, and based on sensory experience. True knowledge is rational and is about grasping the essence of things, understanding the forms. Opinion is what we form based on our senses, and it can be mistaken or limited by our perceptions. For example, you might have an opinion about the beauty of a painting, but true knowledge of beauty itself is something more profound and unchanging, rooted in the world of forms. It's only through philosophical reasoning and intellectual insight that we can access this deeper knowledge. The tripartite soul and justice in the Republic. In his work, The Republic, Plato outlines his ideas about the ideal state and the nature of justice. At the heart of this is his concept of the tripartite soul, which mirrors his vision of a just society. The tripartite soul. According to Plato, the soul consists of three parts: reason, the rational part, which seeks truth and knowledge; spirit, the part associated with courage, will, and emotion; appetite, the base desires for pleasure, food, and material things. A well-ordered soul is one in which reason rules over spirit and appetite. Similarly, the ideal society mirrors this structure with three distinct classes: rulers, philosopher-kings, auxiliaries, warriors, and producers, farmers, craftsmen, etc. Justice. Plato argues that justice in the individual and the state is achieved when each part fulfills its proper role. In the soul, this means reason governs the other parts. In society, this means that the rulers, philosophers, govern, the warriors defend, and the producers provide for the needs of the community. Justice, then, is a harmony of the soul and the state. 5. Political philosophy, the philosopher-king. In the Republic, Plato introduces the idea of the philosopher-king. These rulers are not politicians seeking power, but rather philosophers who have attained knowledge of the forms and thus are uniquely qualified to govern justly. Their rule is based on wisdom rather than force or popular approval. Why philosopher-kings? Plato believed that those who truly understand the forms, particularly the form of the good, would be the best equipped to lead, because they would be guided by knowledge rather than self-interest. In Plato's view, democracy and oligarchy could lead to corruption because they were driven by desires and emotions rather than knowledge. The Symposium, Love and Beauty. In the dialogue. The Symposium, Plato discusses love, eros, in a series of speeches. The work explores different conceptions of love, but one of the key points Plato makes is that true love transcends physical attraction and leads the lover toward the pursuit of the form of beauty. Platonic love. This concept of love is often misunderstood. Platonic love, as discussed in the Symposium, refers to a love that moves beyond the physical. Throughout history, his creation of the Academy in Athens provided a place where philosophy could be studied as a serious academic discipline. Plato's ideas also paved the way for his student, Aristotle, who would go on to challenge and refine many of Plato's ideas. The influence of Plato's Republic and his ideas on justice and the ideal state continue to be foundational to political philosophy. Conclusion. In conclusion, Plato's philosophy presents a vision of a world beyond mere appearances, where perfect, unchanging truths lie waiting for the philosopher to discover. His contributions to metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, and politics have shaped the course of Western thought for over 2 millennia. Whether you are grappling with his metaphysical claims about the forms or his ideal vision of society, Plato's work challenges us to think deeply about the nature of reality, knowledge, and justice. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this lecture sparks further interest in Plato's dialogues and his profound insights into the human condition,